Today we're going to be pairing the 2020 Phyllite and chocolate macarons. You're going to need 1 cup of powdered sugar, around 2 cups of almond flour, 2 cups of cane granulated sugar, and a tablespoon of Diasporico cacao powder. You'll need 5 large eggs, make sure they're room temp, and about 1.5 cups of dark chocolate chips. You'll also need about 1/2 cup of heavy cream, and if you'd like to add, 2 tablespoons of honey. You are going to start by measuring out your ingredients. I like to use a digital scale when I'm baking because it just helps me keep things more accurate. But if you just want to go by how many cups roughly that I listed in the ingredients, you are more than welcome to do that. All right. We are going to get a little bit messy here, so be prepared for the mess and embrace it. All right, after you measure out your powdered sugar, you're going to measure out your almond flour. Once you have that measured out, you're going to throw that in a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, I don't know what to tell you. Just kidding. If you don't have a food processor, you can just do your best to kind of mix it together with a fork. And we're just going to roll with the punches here. So my food processor is getting a little packed, but no problem. What you're going to do here is pulse the almond flour and the powdered sugar together. Make sure it gets nice and mixed up. The point of doing this is to just make sure the almond flour and the powdered sugar are super, super fine. The finer that you measure out your dry ingredients, the smoother the macarons are going to turn out at the end of the day. Once you have those pulsed together, all right, when you have the almond flour and the powdered sugar processed together, you are going to put it through a fine mesh sieve, or in this video here, I am using a flour sifter. The point of all of this is to get no clumps at all. We want it to be a smooth powder. All right, what we're going to do is throw in the cacao powder. And that is what is going to give us this delicious chocolate taste. All right, you're going to take your room temperature eggs. You should have 5 of them, and you are going to separate the yolks from the whites. What we want to do is keep the egg whites, and then you can dispose of the egg yolks, or, I don't know, make some fried egg yolks with them. All right, what you're going to do is put about half of the egg whites into the bowl with your dry ingredients. Then you're going to take a rubber spatula and mix them together. What you want to do is make like a thick paste here. If you see any clumps, just go ahead and break them up with the spatula. After you do that, you are going to take the remaining egg whites and the cane sugar, and you are going to put it into the bowl of a stand mixer or any other mixing bowl and place it over a saucepan of barely simmering water. You're going to stir the egg whites and sugar using a balloon whisk until the sugar dissolves. This will be about 5 minutes. Then you're going to put the bowl on your stand mixer and whisk on a high speed until the meringue is glossy, forms stiff peaks, and the bowl is no longer warm to the touch. That takes about 10 minutes. Take a third of that meringue that you have now, and you are going to put that into your almond chocolate paste. Then you're going to go ahead and use that rubber spatula to mix the two so the paste loosens up a bit. You're going to fold the remaining meringue into the mixture using almost a circular motion, making sure you scrape the sides of the bowl and the bottom as well. You want the batter to be flowing smoothly but slowly, almost like how you would imagine molten lava. When you lift the spatula, the batter should be flowing in ribbons. It's really important here that you don't overmix. So you want it smooth, slow, and flowing like a ribbon off of your spatula. All right. At this point, you're going to fit a plain round tip into a large piping bag. You can also just take a big freezer Ziploc bag and cut the corner off. But if you have a piping bag, then I would definitely recommend it. It just makes things easier, and it also makes you feel like a fancy professional baker. This part can get a little messy and might require 2 people. You can also invert the piping bag over like a large glass in order to help you fill it if you don't have 4 hands in total. All right, what you're going to do now is pipe the macarons onto the baking sheet. I have a silicone baking mat, but you can also just use parchment paper here. You don't want to pipe directly onto the cookie sheet though. Once you have them all piped, you can kind of lift up that cooking sheet and smack it hard on the table to release any air bubbles. And then you're going to put those to the side and let them dry for about 20 minutes till they have a hard, glossy shell. Now we are going to make the ganache. What we're going to do is put our dark chocolate chips into a microwave safe bowl. We're then going to add our cream. At this point, you're going to preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're going to go ahead and bake your dried macaron shells for 20 to 25 minutes. And then I also like to add a little bit of honey into the ganache. You can also add vanilla extract or other extracts like peppermint extract, anything you'd like to kind of give it the flavor that you want. But I like using locally sourced honey. It just adds to the creaminess of the ganache. What you're going to do is put the ganache into the microwave, and at almost around 30-second increments, you're going to microwave on high, and then you're going to take it out and mix it until it is all melted and mixed together. Once that's done, you're going to do the same thing. Throw it into a piping bag or a Ziploc bag with the corner cut off. All right, once we have that ganache in a piping bag, we are going to pipe the chocolate on half of the shells. We want to allow space for it to expand, and then we're going to go ahead and sandwich those shells together. And we are almost done. Just have a few finishing touches to make. All right, I switched out the piping tip, but you can also just use a smaller Ziploc bag and just cut the tiniest corner off. Then you're going to go ahead and pipe more of that ganache just to kind of decorate and zuzz up your macarons, make them pretty. You can also decorate with flaky sea salt, sprinkles, crumbled like peanuts if you'd like. I have some edible glitter that I found, and I am just going to go ahead and throw on some gold glitter onto these macarons before I plate them. If you have extra macarons, you can store them in an airtight container and they will save for about a week, but usually they don't last that long. All right, time to stack up our macarons. And now the most important part, getting a bottle of the 2020 Phyllite, a delicious and elegant 100% Syrah that is perfect for the holiday season. All right, get your wine, get some glasses, and enjoy your macarons with friends.